You are listening to the James Carpenter Podcast Show, episode number 7. Hey, everybody. In this week's episode, I want to talk about food, FOMO, or the fear of missing out, and weight loss. And what you'll discover is the one big question nobody asks that results in lasting weight loss. So stay tuned. We live in a large portion society where food and drink are abundant. We live in a time when we have instant access to food through the drive-through or delivery service, or some of you have even done it through the Uber Eats. We have convenience stores and supermarkets open around the clock, stocked with food that could last us months to live on. So the question at hand, and that I wanted to discuss today, is if our survival to get food has been solved, or at least been made really simple to get food, why do we continue to live from a food scarcity mindset? We no longer have to exit the cave like our ancestors did to hunt daily for our food so we can survive to, live another day. What I want you to think about and to explore is this thought on our beliefs about food FOMO and how it's making us overeat and is making us overweight. Or for some, it's preventing weight loss so that you can be at and remain at your natural weight. Now, your beliefs specifically around food are what you've been taught growing up and are essentially thoughts that you have over and over again. And so it becomes a part of who you are. You rarely question your beliefs because they're constructed of past feelings and experiences and can sometimes be very deeply rooted. Now, food beliefs I'll oftentimes hear from my clients include, eating everything on your plate because there's a child in a third world country starving, or you don't want to waste food by throwing it away because you'd feel disappointed or wasteful, or don't want to feel irresponsible. Or other times it can be feelings of shame or guilt, or even the thought of, I'm going to get my money's worth. Or how many of you would say that you're an emotional eater? But realizing there's always a thought driving you to feel this way. And it's fascinating to take the time to get to know yourself and the thoughts creating your feelings and the feelings that are driving your actions or your behaviors. And so to quickly recap, the problem I'm addressing is why we live in a fear of missing out or, food scarcity mindset when the barriers to access food have been diminished. So the truth is that food isn't the underlying issue. It's actually a byproduct of what's really going on underneath the surface. Food masks pain by distracting you to feel anything negative in your life, whether that's pain from work, autoimmune, or other disorders, relationships, social pressures, or maybe you're not living under this food scarcity mindset. Perhaps it's something else, but food represents that go-to for you. You may even feel overwhelmed with all of the stuff, or you feel you don't have enough time to get everything done, or feel like you don't have it all together. And that, honestly, by the end of the day, you celebrate with food after the kids are in bed because you tell yourself you deserve it or think, what's the point? And here's what happens if you keep, living this way or behaving like this is food will continue to have control over you and you'll continue to overeat because it's a way to distract yourself from it all, which prevents you from being the person you want to be. You won't want to make a healthy dinner for your family, and you'll keep feeling guilty that you can't control food urges and desires. You'll wake up each day less and less happy until you decide something's got to change. And since we haven't been taught how to manage our, pain effectively, your thoughts are a mess. And that's what I offer you is this opportunity to rip off the Band-Aid, or in this case, putting the fork down out of your mouth to truly see and understand what's holding you back from living a life you love, starting with weight loss so that you can be at your natural weight. Now, I want you to imagine that there are rooms in your mind that you haven't gone into or that you haven't opened yet. And what we do is we go into a room, we get to turn on the light, and we get to see what's in there. Now, sometimes it's just a chaotic mess. Other times it's not so bad. But here's what happens. Most of us, we shut the door, we turn off the light, we shut the door, and we never visit that room again. But the point is to allow you to enter or to go into each room one by one and then address what's really happening. You then get to choose what to clean up and what remains. And it wasn't too long ago on a wintry afternoon, I was having a conversation with one of my clients, and we'll call her Amy, where we were talking about her past and what led her to become an emotional eater and why her health was now at risk because of her eating habits. And she told me that she remembers being taught by her parents who were farmers, and they had chickens and some goats and the whole farm life. And she grew up being taught that you don't waste food, that the food, you know, should be treated as a high commodity, because there were some seasons when their crops did really well and they were able to sell the extra produce, to the local community, and everything was fine. And then other times when they were only able to grow just enough to get by for her family. And so it completely makes sense that she developed this sense of scarcity mindset with food, because that was her reality. And she told me that she appreciated growing up on a farm, understanding the hard work involved to grow food, even though she left her family farm many years ago, going to college, and now lives in or near a big city and has two young boys and a husband and has a good job. And the only animals that she has now are two cats. What's more is she recently saw her doctor and was told that she's pre-diabetic and that she needs to either change her eating habits or they're going to have to start her on some diabetic medication. And that's when she said, "Nuh-uh, not gonna happen." So she asked around, found my program through another friend who is actually a client, and she joined. And I'm sharing this with you, obviously with her permission, because her beliefs are still with her. And we talked about how she's noticing that she's now doing the same thing to her kids with what her parents did to her. And she doesn't want to put them through the same set of beliefs, because she doesn't want them to ever experience that feeling of being overweight or pre-diabetic. And now Amy is on her weight loss journey, already losing 14 pounds, and is confident she'll lose the rest, and now feels empowered that she can be the example for her kids and family so they don't have to go through that. Now, here's what happens as you start to clean up things in your life, starting with the food. At first, it can be challenging because maybe you haven't been successful in the past and your brain is shouting and screaming, "I don't know how." So your commitment has to be stronger than that thought to push you through it to the other side, to keep your feet moving so that you allow yourself to say, "No, thanks, I'm full," and move on without making it mean anything. Even if that means throwing away the leftover scraps or ordering a full meal and only taking a couple of bites and then pushing what's left away from you. Because ask yourself this one question. And remember at the beginning of the episode, I said I would reveal the one big question that nobody asks that results in lasting weight loss. Well, here it is. Would I rather throw the food away in the garbage or carry it around with me as garbage on my body? Think about that. By eating food you don't need, by overeating for fear of missing out on that savory treat or whatever it is, isn't it just waste on you? This is the first step to understanding what's preventing you from being at your natural weight today, so that you can stop feeling bloated or stuffed, to the point where you feel sick. So let's address the overeating, that fear of missing out on something, or that, how the food is just distracting you from feeling in the moment. Often we get scared because of the unknown, not knowing how our children will grow up, or if we're making a difference in their lives, or if we're contributing anything to society. Scared of what the future holds because you've been in the same job for years and feel stuck, or the opposite, where you've left a job or are maybe you lost your job and are now in a panic or a frenzy, or maybe you're nearing retirement and are unsure what that looks like, or if you'll have enough money to last you long enough. And people oftentimes tell me that food brings them comfort. But food doesn't care about you, and there's plenty to go around. So, what are we really missing out on? And I'll tell you, it's getting to know you on a deeper, more intimate level, a more meaningful relationship with thyself. So it's not letting fear of missing out prevent you from growing into a better person or building a brighter future or escaping current discomfort or pain. The benefit for you is to feel amazing about yourself because you'll be in control of your thinking. And remember, it's the thinking that drives our feelings. And if you can be in control of your feelings, you then get to control your actions because your actions determine your outcomes, your results. And you'll start taking action towards living each day as you want and loving your life and your relationships, everything. And I had another client tell me that for the first time, I feel like I can have my emotions and be okay with it. Isn't that awesome? Or another said, eating better has helped clear my brain. And so to recap, overeating is causing you to be overweight or preventing you from reaching your goal weight. So many other programs and diets have you rely on willpower to lose weight, which only works in the beginning, but it's not the long term solution. And it's one of those things where have you ever ended a diet the same week that you started it because you had the thought of what's the point or I can't do this? And so, what I offer includes the concepts and techniques that will help you to remove willpower altogether so that you no longer have those uncontrollable food desires or urges. Your self awareness will increase so that you can allow your body to lose weight and keep it off. And so it's asking yourself, how would your life be impacted if you could be at your natural weight? Just ask Amy. So, if you want something different to happen, if you want to change the direction of your health and emotional well being, then you're going to have to do something different. Make a new choice and decide to show up for your family and for yourself. And remember, the one big question nobody asks that results in lasting weight loss is, would I rather throw away the food in the garbage or carry it around with me as garbage on my body? Eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full. Then let's do the work on what remains. All right, my friends, I've enjoyed this time with you, and I hope you have too. So until next week, take care. Hey, if you like this week's podcast, then you should check out my 6-week online weight loss program, where we'll focus on your hormones to get you to your natural weight and look at what's happening in your life and why food is just a distraction that's keeping you from loving your life. Join me at eliteweightsolutions.com/join-me.